All right, hello for another Thursday. Welcome to FYI with Passionate Words Editing Services. My name is Robert Gibson, and I am the author and the founder of Passionate Words Editing Services. We are here for the first. We're here to bring on. We're going to be talking marketing today. I have. She's just come in, but we are going to. Let me see. I'm gonna do a quick live. This is just we're bringing her in, but all right, set. Although this is we are live, we're just looking to see if this is gonna work. But we for those of you who are gonna come in, all right. So
Hi,
yes,
good morning.
all right. So that's basically what we do. We are pretty much now live, and I would. Normally, I would have a little conversation and talk to people before I bring you in. But hey, it is a couple minutes before 8, so people have not yet come in. So if you, so you can do, you can just share your life. You can share the life and let people know that we are here. Right. So let me see. I will do the same. I will start shooting off these things to people who might be in. Claudia, Troy, who else is on? Kishka, Donna, Jane. Let me see. So Donna. 2 more minutes. For those of you who might be popping in, my name is Robert Gibson, and I am the owner of Passion Words Editing Services. We're just giving people a little bit of chance to come in. Normally, I would have a conversation before bringing in our guests, but we will talk as though we can just have a conversation, you know. So just sending out some invitations before 8 o'clock. It's 1 more minute to 8. So start if you're in and if you know anything about if you know anything about authors, if you know any authors, if you are an author and you want to talk about marketing, you want to know something about marketing, definitely come on board. We are 1 more minute before 8 o'clock. So yes, for those of you who might be coming in, 1 more minute before 8, it don't make sense me stopping the live to start it again. So we can just go on from here. So yes. Okay, yes, True Nix has joined. Good afternoon, True Nix. How are you doing? Yes, we are here. Passion Words Editing Services is on the case. This is now FYI. We have 1 more minute. Actually, according to my watch, it is now 8 o'clock. So we are about to start. Welcome. This is Passionate Words Editing Services, FYI with PWES. My name is Robert Gibson, and we're here with Jewel Green, who is a marketing consultant and a whole lot of different hats that she wears. So we'll get a chance to talk to her in a few minutes. First, for those of you who don't know me, I am an author, a publisher, an editor, lover of books and women, not always in that order. And I am practically here to just to infect you with my love of books, to infect you with my passion. So my goal with Passionate Words is that Passionate Words is a one-stop shop, experience for you as a writer to transform into an author. So you come, you only have ideas and you don't have a book yet. You can still come to us. We go from concept to completion and beyond, which means that even if all you have is a concept, we can sit down with a consultation and talk through until you have an idea for a book. If you do have a book, we go through the entire process from editing to book layout, from book layout to creating custom blurbs, which is the words at the back of the book. If you're in the Caribbean, we assist you with your ISBN. and we also help with your covers, right? We also help you with your covers. So the idea is you come one place and we put everything together for you. You don't have to go anywhere else except just come to us and start the process with us. You come and once the book is complete, we also have marketing packages talking to help you with your launch as well. But you know, it's always good to have different perspectives. It's always good to speak to people who are in the same vein as you. Who I might learn something new here. Although I have connected with my business partner who also does marketing. You know, you never learn. You're never too big to learn things. You know what I mean? You're never too big to learn things. So again, welcome to FYI. Again, this is Joel Green, and I will allow her to start by just saying hi. How you doing?
Hi, good night, Robert. Thank you for having me, and good night to everybody who's tuning in live and all those who will tune in later.
Yeah.
You know, I just want to thank you all for taking the time to come out. And it's usually us authors, right? This is usually a dog whistle. But those who are in it are the ones who come out. They hear the call and they turn up, right? So happy to be here, and thank you for having this this platform, for allowing this platform to exist, and for sharing your skills with the authors in the Caribbean. I've always loved books. I've always loved the idea of writing, and not just writing for myself, but authors. I think they're completely awesome. It's quite a labor of love to put down your words and to put them in such a way that persons are interested in what you're writing, interested in your ideas. And I just think authors are awesome, right? That's a superpower, and I love it. So I've always wanted to be in it, and I'm very happy to be here to chat with you today. I lived in Barbados for 10 years, so I love the accent. Yeah, I'm telling you, I came for school and stayed for the party, right? So that was... Barbados is my second home, and I miss your south so much. I can't tell you. All my friends, they fed up of hearing me talk about it, right? I love Trinidad. I love my home, but we don't make south like you all. Come on, right? That pickle. I can't talk enough about the pickle.
Well, try to hurry up and come home then. Try to hurry up and come home and get some south. Yes,
I've been home 2 years ago and I want to come back. I always say, anybody coming from Barbados, listen, freeze, and this is just my thing. Kermit, right, on Thornberry Hill, he does such a great pigtail pickle, oh God. And every time I come, I want to come on a Tuesdays because he's only do it on a Tuesday so I could get my pigtail pickle, right? And when I reach by Kermit, if he sell out my sauce to all the people eating, drinking, he and around down by Kermit has be so vexed. Right?
Oh gosh. Oh Lord. Well,
you need something in life.
Well, yes, man. This is a good thing. You see, one of the good things about like Passionate Words, I have never seen Passionate Words as a Bajan company. All right, that's the first thing. I never saw it as a Bajan company. I have always done my research and when I did my targeted ads, as I was telling you just before we started, my targeted ads are always to the Caribbean region and a little bit to the US and stuff like that, but mostly to the Caribbean region. And I find that although I push to the majority of the Caribbean all at once, then I find that Jamaica and Trinidad are the ones that come back to me when I do my targeted ads. So yeah, we can get into all of that though, because you know the so we're introducing you. You are I'm looking at your page right now, or at least the link tree, and I see CEO. I like that, CEO Caribbean Social Media Hub, host a book club corner. I mean, if you love books, doing a book club is an awesome idea. You know, certified digital inbound marketer. So we can get into all of these. So what got you into reading the love books? What started that love, and how did that get you into what you do today as your thing? Like, talk to us about who you are. How did that get into the Caribbean Social Media Hub? What is that about?
Well, Caribbean Social Media Hub started when I was actually still in Barbados, just before I left. I had a lot of friends who had small businesses and they wanted help with their social media. Social media was, it used to be for personal use. So, you want to post, I the pet, look my hair, check my out, look my outfit, I look cute. Drinking this alignment, but then it started to focus on business, and a lot of them were not really able to pivot from using social media for themselves as a person. It's a lot different, right? You want your brand to sound and look a certain way. So I was doing it for NGOs, right, as part of the Trinidad and Tobago Association of Barbados at the time, and I was doing the PRO position and handling the social media for TTAB. And off of that, people, just conversating. I like how you do social media. You think you could help me with mine? And I said, yeah, sure. So I was just helping persons. And I said, you know what? This is something I really like, and you should do what you love, right? Why slave behind something that doesn't bring you, this extreme burst of joy, and you want to get up early and go to sleep late because of this thing? So I started Caribbean Social Media Hub. It wasn't called that at the time. It had a different name, slightly different, but I wanted something to help friends. So that's basically it. It was just off of helping friends, and when I started it, I just posted this Facebook page, started the Instagram and Twitter, and a friend called me up within, I think it's like half an hour of me starting the business online, of course. And she said, "Is that you? Is that you, Joel? I'm seeing on Facebook." And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Oh God, thank God, right? You need to come over right now. I need your help and I need your services." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then within the next hour, somebody else called, and it was just literally in that 24 hours, about 3-4 persons I knew called and was like, "Oh gosh, thank God," because I just do not know what to do for my business. It came out of that, just finding something I really love to do and turning it into a business, and it just has blossomed from there.
Well, I can understand that. How has it moved? How has it morphed into the fact that was a couple years ago when it was pretty much, as you say, it was pretty much new. Now it's standard. You have to have a social media presence. You have to have, and how's business going? Do you find that more people are coming now that it's standard? Is it easy to get people onto recognizing that this is what they need? Some people think, some people want to do it. They say they want to do it, but then they don't recognize that it's an investment. It's an investment in time. It's an investment in money. It's an investment. If you don't want to put in the work, then it won't benefit you. But how has it moving from those first initial, oh God, you here? I'm glad I got some help, to how's it now? What's it like now? Is it still getting that sort of traction coming in?
It is, and it's completely different to how it was, because we moved from persons saying, I'm new to this social media business page scenario, to feeling comfortable, and when you see the results that they're asking for compared to the results they're getting, they're seeing a discrepancy, right? And I, some of the times they come to me and, I have this business page for so long and I'm putting out things, but like nobody not seeing me. Like people don't even know. I'm talking to people and they're like, "You have a business doing what?" And they can't understand why people not seeing them. But the issue with that is a lot of persons don't understand that while it's very easy and nice to do it, free of charge for yourself, to tell your people what you're doing. And I went home for Christmas and there's the food and I helped my mommy cook and we paint the house and all of that. It's quite different when you're doing a business, right? You want different things and you're looking for some return on your investment, and your investment may only be time, because we know these platforms are free to join. But what we're discussing now is the burn rate, as they call it, right? The longevity of your posts on these platforms, and each platform has a different lifespan. And a lot of people don't know that. They think, you know, once I put out a post, just once a week I could put out something, and depending on what platform you're on, you're completely crazy to think that. Some people use Twitter and they think they can put something on Twitter once a week, once a day, and that's enough. And the burn rate on Twitter is crazy. Literally, it lasts a few seconds, right? You can literally post up to 5,000 posts on Twitter for one day in 24 hours, and you still run the risk of not being seen. Facebook is a completely different story. Facebook is a few hours, Instagram another few hours. And when you look at how you want to, how often you can, you know, keep posting, now you have to start to think about whether I'm going to use automation, right? And that's another conversation. What kind of automation you want to use? And if you are using automation, now we have to figure out your voice. Now you have to, you know, plan ahead. Now you have to do your graphics. Yeah, that's somebody. So it is a bit more than people expected, where, you know, they take a picture of their business. I just sold something, and then we have the dichotomy between the service industry and products, right? So sometimes people are selling products, and it's quite easy to get people interested if you're selling food, right? Put up a pretty picture of the sushi you made or the cake that you baked, and people are like, oh, you know, they feel hungry one time and they come get your food. But when you're selling now shoes, or you're selling worse yet a service, good Lord, your accounting services, you know, how do you market a service? What do I show them? I can't show them the accounts I do. I can't show them, you know, the service I provided. But what you can provide is a review, good service, you know, people have it. And I struggle with that, because while you're doing your business, so even if you're doing for other persons, you still have to turn around and do yourself, right? So I'm seeing, you know, what they say, the shoemaker never have good shoes. I'm trying not to be the shoemaker, right? Who never have good shoes done with social media, you know, it's complete trash. But my clients always up to par. So I'm seeing a difference between when we started, so it started to slow down because people started to feel so comfortable. Oh, yeah, I know what to do. I could do it. And then they came back. Now I don't like the results I'm getting, but, you know, and a lot of people don't understand that doing marketing is not sales, right? When you get somebody to do your marketing, what you're asking them to do is send up a back signal for you, right? So here am I do this is what I do, this is when I work, these are my hours, this is where you can find me, this is all the services I provide. It's a back signal. That's what the social media and marketing is about. But now they have to take it when the customer comes to them. Now they have to be able to close. And a lot of persons don't always know how to close. So you find sometimes if you don't manage expectations, you run into problems with your clients saying, you know, I thought you were going on get me sales. I thought this was going to, I was going to sell more food and things, but I didn't find this working out. You haven't explained. This is a bad signal. And are you getting persons coming and saying, oh, I didn't know you used to do that? That's what you want, right? For the marketing. You want people to now come and say, oh, I didn't know this was your business. Oh, I didn't know you were doing that. I'm so glad to have met you. But you still have to close. You still have to provide good customer service, high quality product, good service. And if you don't do that, you know, don't expect the marketing to close that gap for you. That's not what it's there for.
Right. It's true. One of the things that I see is is your book. The strategies for selling more books fast. Now, obviously, that gets my attention. Because I myself have my own books that I need to push out. As you said, don't want to be a shoemaker and have bad shoes. But I'm more so concerned about my clients as well. So this book, and it's an ebook that I believe in our conversation before, you're actually using this as is this a lead magnet for you, or is this market research? Tell people about the book, and then let me know what the book is entailed. Like, I'm looking at it now, and for those of you who are interested, like I said, we will give you more information on how you can get your hands on this book and more information if you want to speak to Joel as well. You'll be able to, we'll definitely give you links. But we're looking at things like the process of book marketing, identifying your audience, building your author brand, creating your book marketing plan. So it is much more than just sticking books up, sticking pictures up there. It's much more than like than sticking pictures or videos. You know, when TikTok started, TikTok was all about these little children and doing dances. I know, I know is you know, I go on TikTok mainly for entertainment. I go on TikTok for entertainment. I know the last time I turn on my Netflix because I follow certain creators and in certain genres and some personal and some book related, and I just like the content. But so from, you know, we can get into that because the other thing about it is content creation is a whole business. You talk about you talk about how much you gotta do, and as you say, like you talk about Twitter and you put up things like thousands of things in a day, and you still is nobody still didn't see you. You can get into that because I personally want to know how you expect me to find time as a busy entrepreneur to do all this. Where I gonna find the time? I gotta run the business. I have to run the business. I ain't got time to be a content creator too. But that's what you have to do. You gotta figure out where that medium is because you know. So yeah, talk to us about this book, strategies for selling more books fast.
Yeah, well, thank you for bringing that up. It is a lead magnet, but more so, it didn't start out like that, right? So currently, I'm the president of the Tobago Writers Guild. We're a group of persons who are writers, published authors, and we really support and come together to nurture and make sure that writers have the support they need. It's a lonely gig, right? It's hard work. You're putting in the hours to make sure your book has good content, it's interesting, you target your audience, you put your keywords in, all of your buy stack codes, all of these things. But then, you know, you end up with books, right, at the end of it, and you wonder, okay, well, I printed these books or I did ebooks, well, what am I going to do with these books? I want them sold. I want people to see my books, right? I didn't do this to have it under my bed in a box. So what we gonna do? And that's what I found. A lot of the published authors were coming to me from the guild asking, you know, well, okay, Jewel, we know you're into marketing. What to do with the book? You know, I want to get into marketing as an author. I want to talk to people about my book and so on. What do I do? So it's off of conversations I've had with them. And so Caribbean Social Media Hub, TT, we partnered with the guild to provide a free marketing course, Marketing for Caribbean Authors, to just run through the steps for marketing. And while doing that, I realized, you know, there was so much that one, the authors didn't know, and two, they also came with their own experience to bring to the session. And it was really a nice give and take in terms of what we know, how we know it, and what's happening. So when people kept saying, yeah, you had to do another one, do another marketing session, and we, you know, it was good, but we didn't keep track. We need more information. And I said, you know what, it would be nice. I mean, if it was me, I would be happy to have a guide. So it really came off of that, just putting down some steps for people to use. And it's just 37 pages, you know, it's nothing voluminous, such a, you know, oh gosh, all this information. You can follow it quite quickly. You can keep it handy, and I give it away free. So I'm using it for market research. One, because obviously I want to be able to publish not just a guide, but a whole book, right, that a person can use to say, okay, you're going to be an author for probably the rest of your life once you've put out something out there into the atmosphere. You put out a book, you put out material. You want to keep selling that book, right? You may update it from time to time depending on if it needs updating based on the topic, but you also want to be able to keep selling the book. You want to keep marketing the book, marketing yourself. You want people to keep knowing that you're an author. And that's how it came about, right? So a lot of things in the book may seem like, oh, I know that. but you weren't doing it, right? Oh, I know I have to tell people, but nobody knows you're an author. And that's the thing, right? How can you have a business? Because I talk to authors as if they're a business. An author is an entrepreneur, right?
Yes.
We tend to not look at it like that, and therefore we don't put in the effort or the focus in it like that, because we just want to write, right? We just want to be creative and, you know, sit in a nice space and be inspired and write, and that's nice. But then what you're going to do with your book?
Listen
right?
to me. I tell authors all the time, once you've written that book, you are now author incorporated. You are now it's a business now, because you have a product. And because you have a product, you have to think completely different from having, you understand? I totally agree. Because I had the same when I started, my first book, I wrote my first book in 2014. And I did exactly what most people do. I wrote the book because people asked me for a book and I wrote the book. But then it's like, now what? You understand? So yeah, I get you. It is you're a business now, and you have to think about it like a business. When you start thinking about it like a business, it elevates your thinking, because you have you're like this business started off of my books, in the sense that I had people I was editing for myself, and other people that I was close to asked me, well, why don't you edit my stuff? Similar to, and it took me, I had a lot of imposter syndrome, and I didn't start right away. But eventually I started, and it was really, really undercutting, as an author, one of the things you gotta do is to tell people about the pricing of their products and the pricing of their books, because I was really undercutting. But that got my foot in the door, and eventually, as I started doing more like going to courses and stuff like that, slowly got in and connected with great people. My prices increased, and what I offer increased. So now it's a full-time business that I do all the time. But yeah, if you don't think about it like business, you can write it, you can put the book up there, and then you're gonna sit down there and cricket's gonna happen. Nothing. As I tell people, your one book is a drop in the ocean to the millions of books that are released almost daily. Thousands of books are released daily, I say, and, across the world. Amazon, Lulu, blurb.com, all of these different people on all these different platforms are releasing books. Your one little book, nobody ain't gonna know that it's there unless you tell them.
Yeah, listen, first of all, I'm stealing that author incorporated stolen and letting you know ahead of time. Don't vex with me. But it's true. Once you tell people, an author, you're now a business. You wrote a book, you now have a business. You're an entrepreneur. What are you gonna do with this product, right? Just have it on the shelf dusty. And you can literally start small. Start telling your friends that you've written a book. Because trust and believe, as much as they like and love you, your family and your friends, they're the ones who give no F's about you and your book. I'm sorry to put it so plainly. They love you, but you write a book, they're not your target market, but you have to start telling somebody, and I always challenge people, start telling your family, start telling your friends that you've written a book. If your family and friends, you haven't shouted from the rooftop to them yet, you'll find it very hard to tell other people, right? And that is where you need to start. Start with your close network and start to tell them about your book. We look at the how we're doing marketing for books, and a lot of people place emphasis on social media. I talk to authors all the time about using social media because it is a free platform, right? It's quick and easy. You can take some pictures and, some professional pictures, tell people, take a picture if you read my book and send it in. But, there is the area of marketing your book without social media. How dare I say it, right? I said it. You do not have to use social media to market your books. Let me just tell you quickly, and I haven't addressed it in my book because it's an area that a lot of people are wondering, you know, when I say it, they're like, what kind of marketer she could be at all? Do you use social media?
But
She had good.
but you had books.
Yeah.
But there were books on the market before social media, wasn't there?
And let me go into that. Yeah, you know, they want to know if my head crack, as the new saying go, your head had to be shaken, right? So when we talk about social media, yes, that may be where a lot of people are, right? But when we go back to the lifespan of posts, when we go back to that, so let me just give you some real figures, and this is nothing I made up, right? So don't come at me. This is research. You could look it up yourself. Literally, Twitter, Facebook is 6 hours. That's how long it lists, and that's if you post regularly, right? We're not looking at those who come on once a month and say, hey people, nice to see you, and then disappear for the rest of the year. You know, LinkedIn is 24 hours, and we know that's a better platform because of the target, right? That's a professional platform. We're looking at TikTok, that's instantly key. Instant, right? Your post starts to decay, and that's the lifespan we're talking about, right? It starts to die as soon as it's up there. So if you don't have a good bit of followers on TikTok, don't expect, you know, to just instantly be a hit. You literally have to do quite a bit of work on TikTok. Twitter is 15 to 18 minutes, and Instagram is 48 hours, but YouTube is 20 days.
Oh, wow.
Pinterest is 4 months. Yeah, Pinterest is 4 months. And a blog post, you know, I'd give anybody a free book, a free marketing session if they could guess. Put it in the comments, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Blog posts last for years. Years. Right? So when we talk about not focusing 100% on social media to market, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the lifespan of your post with your audience. And email marketing is not dead. Email marketing literally is the best way to keep your audience engaged, right? A person may not see an email right away, but trust and believe they're going to go to that inbox at some point in time, unless they do like, you know, most of us and forget a password, but they're going to go there, right? And they're going to open your whether you send them, you know, a document, you send them a blurb of your book, you send them links for your book, you send them an ARC, right, which is the advanced reader copy, and you ask them to give you a review. So those are things that we're looking at in terms of strategies. You know, don't only think, oh, I'm not good at social media, how will I ever market my book? You do not always need to depend on social media. You can market your book on other spaces other than, you know, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Use email marketing. Get a blog post, right? And one of the things that I'm realizing a lot of authors are not looking into is reviews. So let's just break down for 1 second. What's happening with authors in the Caribbean compared to what's happening with authors outside of the region, right, internationally. And what we're seeing is that a lot of authors regionally in the Caribbean are publishing their book independently, self-published. A few of them, you know, went the vanity publishing route, and we don't want to get into too much of definitions, but the vanity publishing route is usually most expensive. It's not really the judicious use of your money, but self-publishing, a lot of Caribbean authors go that way. And it helps us to keep the rights to our book, makes us, you know, retain those. So we like that. But the difference between being traditionally published and self-published is that you have to do all the work yourself. Right? When you use an agent and get, you know, responses from publishers such as Passionate Words, right? You get a different response. So if it is now you're traditionally published, they have a whole machine behind them. They come and do your marketing and sort you out and give you money and stuff, but you may not retain the rights to your book, and a lot of people want to keep the rights to their books. So we're looking at the Caribbean author now having the issue of saying, okay, well, I want to be self-published, but that means I have to do all the work myself. I have to do all the editing, or look for editor, or look for a book cover agent. And, you know, I can do all of that, but then it comes down to the marketing, and I like biting nails. I have, you know, 100 copies of my book. What will I do with all this? You know, I'm an author, yeah, but on the other hand, you're crying because how am I going to get these books off my hand? So when we look at the Caribbean self-published author, we really need now to kind of double down and help, right? So that's what you and I are doing. We're coming out and saying, listen, you're kind of on your own in the Caribbean because you're self-published. You know, it's not the most proactive market. Here we are to help you with all the things you're doing. Even though I train authors, sometimes people just want the marketing skills, right? They want to know how to do it, but, you know, they may not always have the time or the skills that the bandwidth, as we say, to get into it. And that's what we provide, you and I. You know, we help them with their marketing to get their books out. But don't forget the Caribbean region. Even though we are a drop in the bucket, Caribbean books are now blowing up. Right? It's now this big thing to hear the Caribbean voice, right? When we look at, and I think we started to get a big push when we started to be aired on BBC. I think it was called Caribbean Voices. Marina Salandi, she is one of the directors of Bocas Lit. She founded Bocas Lit Fest, and she was on BBC working as a program director, and they started Caribbean Voices. They really fine-tuned that, and they used to have authors reading, right? Authors like Eric Roach from Tobago, Derek Walcott, they would read their stuff on Caribbean Voices, and it became a thing, right? Oh, you know, cute, Caribbean Voices. You know, these Caribbean authors have, you know, real flavor, and we can use that as a marketing tool to get our things out there. Don't think that, you know, yes, you're dropping it in the bucket, but you have a unique selling point. You are one local, so don't forget when to flavor your books with our the way we communicate, our own brand, right? That's a selling point. Don't water it down with being so international that they don't even know you're Bajan. They don't even know you're Trinidad and Tobagonian. Listen, pepper it with your local flavor and your local slang. So now when they read your book, they're like, oh, you know, I think I'm a Bajan now.
And think about this. If you buy a book from America, they immerse, like, let's think of a specific genre. You're thinking about what they call urban fiction, right? I have never been to the Bronx. I've never been to the Bronx. I've never been to anywhere that is considered an American ghetto. But I read these books, and they're talking about Flatbush. They're talking, in, as you say, it's flavored with their nuances. Why should I, as a Caribbean person, write in a way that, like, people have said, like my novel, and when I wrote my novel, people say write what you know. So I wrote my novel, and to the point where people thought that the main character was me. And I was like, no, I'm not. I treat women way better than he treats women in that book. I'm not him. But but I one of the things that I've heard over the years is the people who love, one of the characters that people love is the main character's grandmother, who speaks raw Bajan, right? And I have bought a book from a Jamaican author whose entire book, like, not even the narration is in English. All of it is patois. All of it. I can't understand half the words. But into this story. So I agree with you. I think people want, if people come to the Caribbean, they come to the Caribbean for the Caribbean experience. A lot of people do not want to come to the Caribbean and then stay in the the all-inclusive hotels alone. They want to be, if they come to Barbados, they want to experience Barbados. They want to go and experience some of my friends tell me they want act like a local. They want to know what it feels like to be a local. Same thing with the books, right? If you take up a book and I tell you that I'm a Barbadian, it should come out in my work. Okay.
Yep.
Even if I am not writing, and of course we're speaking specifically to fiction, but I'm saying that even if you're writing nonfiction, there are ways of bringing that Caribbean out. You don't have to be speaking necessarily in dialect if you're not writing a nonfiction book, but you can still infuse it with where you are in Barbados. If I'm talking, give me Caribbean examples. So explain to them what a ZR is. Explain to them what a minibus is. Right? They don't know.
Yeah.
You explain to them what a minibus is. Like one of my partners who lives in the UK in the US. Every time you've been here for 10 years, so you know when a ZR pass, you will hear some of them. I talking to her on the phone. She's in Detroit. I am on a Facebook Messenger call with her, and I'm driving, and I'm on the call with her, and the ZR pass, right, with the air horn. She want to know if there's a clown car that pass. She want to know if there's a clown car that pass. I'm like, no, that's a bus. And she's like, that's a bus, you know. So yeah, I get you. You have to infuse yourself and your country or your region, even if it is a nonfiction book. There are ways of infusing who you are, because, as you said, people outside of the Caribbean see the Caribbean as an exotic place. When I do my poetry or open mics, international open mics, where using Zoom and stuff, people freak out over the voice. Like, I mean, the voice and then the words, and that's so you market. You definitely market. Well, speaking of marketing, and I'll stop here to also say we are having a conversation. But if you have a question, you can definitely hit us up in the comments box. There is a question box right at the bottom. It looks like a question mark. If you press it there and put your question in, it will pop up and I will be able to answer it directly. You can also use the comment section and give us integrate and speak to us. We're not just talking amongst ourselves here, but we want to encourage you to get involved in this, because especially if you are an author, you should be sitting down really taking notes about the things that we are speaking about, and definitely afterwards hitting that notification, making sure that you connect with us, making sure that you like and follow Passionate Words, follow Jewel, and definitely be asking questions about how you can get involved, how you can get your book out there, how you can become author incorporated. Because as you have that book, I released a Bajan drama just a couple of days ago, and he has a lot of people on his personal circle that are really interested in this book. But I know that is a bubble that will slowly die down. Right now, the book is hot because it just released. But unless he gets on to where other people are interested in this book and other people are talking about it, he can have issues. Talking about marketing again, we talk about your audience. How do you find what give us some a little bit of, like, you can definitely get, like, definitely again you can speak to us and connect with her to make sure you get a copy of her free ebook, but give us understanding of target audience. How do I know what my target audience is?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question. So I'll share the link in the comments after we finish here, how you can get the book. It's completely free.
If you can type it in, I will pin it. If you type it in, I will pin it.
But what we're talking about in terms of your audience, this is something that you, even before you finished writing your book, can be thinking, should be thinking about, right? Obviously, you know whether it's a children's book you're writing or if it's for adults. But we're talking way beyond that because, you know, even if it's a children's book, you need to know what age group you're targeting, right? Because they do have different levels in terms of what they are able to consume and read. But when we're talking about adults, we're talking about interests. So we want to know when I'm writing my book, you know, yes, it's a fiction. Yes, it's about folklore. But what type of folklore? And for which Caribbean island am I focusing on? Because every Caribbean island has a different folk hero, right? Has a different folk story. If I'm writing locally about my story, we want to talk about how we break that down for our other Caribbean brothers and sisters. So you may have to do your research. And I talk to people about making sure, one, the keywords you want in your book are usually what we dig up from the BISAC codes, right? So this we don't want to confuse anybody, but just a quick rundown. The BISAC codes are categories as to how your book is shelved at the bookstore, right? How your book is shelved online with Amazon, Kindle, etc. How your book is shelved even at the library. They use this BISAC codes, and I can share a document with you in terms of finding that out. Just giving you an idea of how to select your BISAC codes. Because you want to know what that is before you even finish writing your manuscript, right? That now helps you to really zero in on your target. So let us break it down. You're looking to write a self-help book. My journey, I'm writing a biography, non-fiction, about how, you know, I went from dependency to independence, right? You're looking at a psychology genre right there. You may think, you know, I'm just writing about self-help, but then you're going into the psychology of it, you're going into the mind of it. So you may even want to break it down a little further. Then you're looking at, you know, when I write my book, who am I going to target? Where am I going to find those things? If a person was a codependent person, and you could look it up, I'm not trying to, you know, bring up big terms or anything. An alcoholic, where do I find alcoholics? Okay, we have an author, Rodney Piggott. He wrote a book that targets persons who have a habit of smoking. They want to get rid of their habit. You know, where do I find persons who may be smoking and want to get rid of their smoking habits? You're going to have to put your hat on and wonder, okay, if when I was a smoker, where was I, right? When I was in my issue, where was I? Where was I looking? And perhaps you even have to go as far as putting your book in the newspaper, going to traditional publishing routes, right? Because sometimes we think, oh, let's do social media. It's good to do that. But a lot of times the traditional publishing routes, the traditional marketing routes, sorry, are still viable and valuable, and we need to remember that. So you really have to put yourself in the mind of your reader, not just saying, you know, I'm writing this book and I am the writer and this is my baby, this is my creative art form. You really want to put yourself in that place as a reader and think about, one, is my book interesting? You know, they're not buying a book because, you know, they like you. They're buying a book because you're getting value out of it. Some of them may even buy a book because they look at the back cover and, you know, you just want a quick read and you think the person cute. Some people may pick up the book because they see, oh, this is a nice 100-page read. This is not you know, an anthology. This is not a big long read. They may pick up your book for a quick summer read. You want to remember how many pages are in your book because you want to be able to put that in your blurb when you're writing, you know, a blurb about your book. Well, the book is about, but you want to start by saying, my book is, you know, this is a 100-page read. This is a quick summer read. You want to put those things in so people understand quickly, you know, and you know, I'm not trying to write a dissertation. So when we talk about how to target your audience, put on your, you go into a bookstore and see what reasons you pick when you look at picking up a book. See what drives you to select a book and write those down. You know, why did I pick up this book? It was pretty. Right? Let's just talk the science of it. It was pretty. The person had it set out nice. When I looked at the cover, it was a nice hardcover. It's a cute book. I'm going on vacation and I might be an influencer, Instagrammer. I don't want a boring book cover, right? That doesn't help me. So I might start with that. Let's think about those things. Did you talk to the writer, to the readers about yourself, right? Do they know who you are, right? And I have an author, he literally wrote 2 books and put nothing in the back. So you read at the front his name, but you don't know what he looks like. You don't know who he is. You don't know what his interests are. You have no idea who this is. You buy a Stephen King book. I mean, if you pass Stephen King in Barbados, you'll be wait, no, not Stephen King. You'll be wait, that's not Jackie Collins. They make sure and put a picture of themselves on their book. And that's what you want to make sure that visibility, recognizability, you want to put that because people want to know who they're reading, right? They don't need to know you're eating green eggs and ham, but they need to know who you are. They need to see you. So when you're looking at your target, and then when you're writing a book now, you want, depending on your target, you need to know what type of font. So it's you want to get into the mind of your reader. If you're looking at a more mature crew based on what you're writing, your font might want to be large. Don't forget persons, after they get to a certain age like ourselves, you need glasses. And the person don't want to be, I already have on glasses and I still can't see the word. I'm not buying this book. I don't care how interesting it is. I can't read it. So, tell that in the corner. So you want to make sure if you're writing for a certain age group, your font size, sometimes even the feel of the paper, put yourself in the position of the reader. Go to a bookstore, just browse and see what makes you pick up a book. See what makes you like a book. Write those little things down and follow those things. Right? And that is how I would say, how to identify your target market. I mean, you already know what your target market is. That's why you're writing a book. But to consciously figure that out, write it down. Right? The person is 20 to 25 or 30 to 100, whatever it is, the age group. This person gets up and likes a lazy morning and, they like to drink a little something in the morning, a little hot coffee or tea. This person likes, and write down who this person is who's reading your book. And that's how I think we get into the mind of your reader and therefore identify your target audience. And if your book is a religious book or an inspirational book, you may want to target churches. You may literally want to talk to somebody who belongs to a church. I would like to come to your women's group and talk about my book. Is that okay? Right? Can I come to your men's group? You're having some sort of service. Can I have my book placed in the front in your showcase? A lot of churches have book showcases now in front of their churches. Can I put up a notice on your notice board that I have this inspirational book along with a journal, right? Even businesses, I've gone to banks and they have a notice board and you see people pin their business cards. And Barbados is so good with this in terms of marketing for tourism. And you may want to create a business card, some sort of postcard to showcase your book and put it out there, right? Why not do that? Don't think, I have to follow the regular route all the time. So that would be my 2 cents.
Basically, you are as individual as your book, and there are different practices that you can do, but everything basically look and find opportunities. Like personally, I still have copies of my book in my vehicle. Like wherever I go, I got my books in my car. So I ready. Anybody my genre, I did. Oh, you want I like so definitely I agree with you in terms of there's so much to unpack. I honestly feel like we need to have another session sometime, because there's so much to unpack here. I really want to get into the email marketing because personally, I know that email marketing is big. I personally have learned some things based on email. I've joined courses based on being on their email list. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But on the other, or being on the flip side, being the person who's creating these things, what do you do? You know what I mean? And how do you keep your people engaged? And then when you like I was using email marketing software, like ConvertKit, so that you can see all this stuff going on in the background. So it got a little disheartening sending emails and realizing it's okay when you send emails and you don't know that people are opening them or not opening them. But when you can actually literally see and nobody has opened this book, these emails, I get disheartened, So there's so much more that we could talk about. Like, we are literally coming to the end of this show. We need to do another one because there's so much more that we can discuss. I myself, we can definitely talk, because I had the idea of doing. People told me the same thing about doing some sort of seminar or something or the other. And I thought we didn't talk, because honestly, the idea of doing that was always in the back of my mind, but it was the how, and then there was also the imposter syndrome that you're always fighting. Do I have blah blah blah? I mean, I know better, because I've been doing this now for 3+ years, but you still feel like going into something completely different. Having a one-on-one with somebody and speaking to them about the book is something completely different from standing before people or having a Zoom meeting and leading a whole session about these topics. You know what I mean? So, but again, we definitely have to do this again. We really feel like we scratched the surface. I really feel like we scratched the surface. Definitely, like I said, for those of you who are here and for those of you who are going to be watching the replay, you need to follow her on her socials. You need to find out more about her, how to get this ebook, Strategies for Selling More Books Fast, because as an author, you are now a business. You are now a business. You need to, but I also want to tell you that she hinted at it, and I will say I say it all the time in this platform. You're not alone. You're not alone.
Yeah.
As much as writing is a lonely endeavor, writing may be a lonely endeavor, but again, it doesn't have to be. But definitely getting the book together and putting the book out there does not have to be a lonely endeavor. That is what CSTT is. That's what the CSTT Hub is. That's what Passionate Words is. If you want help, hit us up. That's what we are there for. Our goal, like I said, Passionate Words is here from concept to completion and beyond. Literally, we come down, you come and have a consultation with me. When you're done, there was one particular, I can give you an example. There was one lady who said she wanted to write a book. She said she wanted to write a book, but she didn't have a clue what kind of book she wanted to write. She just knew she wanted to write a book. One session, she did one. And at the end of that hour, she had 6 ideas of 6 different books. And it was which one we starting with, because you got 6 books, so we cooking with gas. So even if you have an idea, because the ideas bounce off of people, when you come and you speak in a consultation, you may not know what you want, but when you come and you bounce ideas off, and then I hear or Joel hears, and we're like, and then with our experience, we're like, this sound like this genre, this sound like you write it. I've literally told people, well, they say, I don't know what I want to write, and then they tell me their life story, and I'm like, there was a guy that he started telling me stories about his life, and in the middle of it, he said, I can't make this shit up. That's exactly what he said. I can't make this shit up. And I looked at him and said, sir, that is the name of your book. I can't make this shit up. Because
I love it.
Listen to me, these stories were fantastical. And I mean fantastic as in woo-woo. I mean fantastical, like how you living. How you living. How you get out of it and leave. Like, he literally told me about getting beat up by transvestites in a, like, also, I mean, I don't know where he, like, how you living. I want this book though. I don't want this book because I want money. I want this book because I want to read the rest of these stories. So I tell people the reason why I have passion in my name is because I am just as invested with these stories as you are. I get all invested. I want to know. You write this story, and I am your first customer. Sell me, and once you sell me, you got other things. Because yes, so definitely, like I said, we definitely need to do this again. I know that you have a specific. There's a lot of stuff going on for you, but definitely, whenever you have another time, just let me know, and we will come back again. Before we wrap up, let people know how to find you again. Let people know, especially how to get your, how to find you, what your socials are, how to get this book in their hands, and how to book a session with you, all of that good stuff.
Okay, cool. Thanks so much again for having me. This was such an exciting, fast pace, because, for book marketing, it's really so much and so little, You never have enough time to talk about it because you love it so much. But it's, we want to make sure our authors and writers, we don't scare them away. So we always want to give them just enough to get them excited and keep them going. But you can find me. I mean, you can click on my name and you'll find the link to Caribbean Social Media Hub TT. We do training to authors in terms of their book marketing to keep you on track. And we do have marketing services that we provide for you to be able to do the great work you're doing, which is writing, and let us do the rest, right? Let's worry about how to get your book sold. But we just want to make sure you understand that as a self-published author, there is, a lot you can do to market yourself and to make sure that you're visible right there in your community, right? If your community, your village, your street does not know you've written a book, tell yourself you're not doing a good job, right? You should be able to walk in the street and say, hey, there's the author here on this street, he published a book, she published a book, right? And think about all the ways you could get it out. Crop over is coming just now, and so many things are happening.
Yeah, we're right now in the middle of
and as you say, yes, and as you say, you always have your book on you. Have some books that you can literally give away, right? And don't just hand it out to any and everybody just to see a giveaway 2 books, right? Make sure you speak to the person and figure out what's going on with them. If they'll be interested in your book, because sometimes people will be like, you write a book, I'd be interested in your book. Say, as a matter of fact, I have copies. You may not always have a car. You may have a handbag, right? And as women, we know our handbag does have enough things in it. Put one of your books inside of there, right? Walk with your book. If your book may be one of those coffee table books, a nice big bulky book, walk with a business card, right? And if you don't have cash to do business cards, let me tell you, real simple. Get something done on Word, buy a piece of Bristol board, go into a company and say, can you print these for me, please? And cut them up yourself. You do not have to be rich to start marketing yourself, right? Do not let anything deter you. I always use the story of my mother. I know we're wrapping up. My mother, her father was illiterate. She did not know until she finished high school. And she thought for all those years that he literally could have read and wrote, and she only found out after, because every day she'd come home from school, he would tell her, Princess, empty your bag and bring your books. Let me have a look and see what you did today, right? And when she found out he could not read, because he came to her after high school and said, I want you to teach me how to read, she was flabbergasted. So were you, Daddy, were you was watching all this time? You telling me bringing my books, and he said, I know what an X look like, and I know what a tick look like. And an X is if you're getting them wrong, and a tick is if you get it right. And if you have plenty X, you're doing bad. And if you have plenty ticks, you're doing good. I don't need to read nothing, right? So I use that example. Don't let anything deter you. You do not need to be a marketing genius. Don't be too smart for your own good. Start where you are. Start with what you have. And get your books out there. Tell everybody that you meet, I write a book. I'm writing a book. I'm in the process. It's almost finished. You must add a chapter to read. Basic like that. Make sure everybody know you have this book. And if you could start like that, that helps with the imposter syndrome. And don't take on people say, you write a book. What you could write a book about? Do you know anything? Say, well, maybe not, but we'll see. You understand? don't frighten, right? Not every time you tell your dreams to people, they're going to support you. But you know what? Go brave. Broaden
It's true. Go
your
hard.
shoulders and go through.
Go hard or go.
Yeah, broaden your shoulders and go through. That's right. And we in in Caribbean social media hub, we promote being brave and going through. Right? Tell your story. Don't mind the detractors. They always will have something to say. There are people who need to hear your story. If it's that one person you can encourage and motivate, even if it's a fiction, you bring them to a space where they feel calm and relaxed and are reading your book. And this book will help me. I was having a bad day and I sat down and I read this book and I just feel like, yeah, I was in a different mind space when I finished reading this chapter. Don't forget, we have vocations, we have something within us to connect with humanity and to connect with people. And if writing is that thing for you, don't let it pass. Don't let your life pass without putting pen to paper. And that's all I have to say. So cheers. I know you're probably, getting some fruits in, Robert, don't party too hard. Eat some sauce for me. Get some pickle for me. A comment, right?
Indeed. No problem at all. But you see, but definitely as we close, I will say the same thing. I will definitely encourage you. Anybody who's on this call, you see this? I will be saving this live as I usually do. Make sure that you forward this live to somebody else, forward the recording to somebody else, have them connect with social media, with Joel and with myself, read and understand, because it is, when you start writing, it is a different experience. It's a different experience, especially when you, then as a writer, seeing my characters come to life. And I'll give you a funny story very quickly. I wrote my novel literally by creating my male character, creating my female character. Then in my head, I watched them have sex, and I was like, oh shit, I should write this down. That's how my book started.
I love it.
That's how my book started. I was like, wait, what? And there's a whole different thing we can talk about where that's concerned. Write your book. People need to hear. People want stories. People want to escape the reality of what's happening in the world today with a good book. People need to be inspired. So there is the devotional, there are the Christian books. Yes, they need the inspiration. Maybe if the book is a whole, like I said, the last book I released from Passionate Words is a whole urban fiction. Literally guns, murder, prison, sex.
I love it.
But I personally was telling the author, I can't wait for this book to come true, because I want this book I want this book in my shelf, right? Because it is a really good book. So yes, and so even although you are writing, so it may not be a self-help book or whatever, but it is your voice, and people need to hear your voice. So
I'm hearing some Eric Dickey coming out of you, Robert.
Well, that is true. My personal genre is erotica. Personally, my personal genre is erotica. Always been. My 6 books are all erotic. 5 books of erotic poetry and 1 erotic novel. So yeah. So I tell people the difference is I separate who I am as an author from Passionate Words. So like for instance, I don't put my own. I have a whole other page for my erotic self and my erotic stuff as an erotic writer. That's a whole different side of me. I'm a Gemini, so that's like one half of me, right? When I come here, business, I come here this business. But yes, my books are all personally. My books are all erotic. But as I tell people, I am able. Passionate Words is able. I will edit anything, even if it's just your shopping list. Even if it's just your shopping list, I can edit it.
I love it.
So
just throwing it out there, don't forget about Audibles. Audio books, they're gold. And I just gonna leave it there because, you know, Robert, I'm sensing that we could chat, laugh, and you know, blab for the rest of the whole night. This could go on and on. I just want to leave that out there. Authors, do not forget audio books.
Yes, audiobooks are also a thing. My mom, for instance, definitely reads, or she listens to lots and lots of different things in her audio and audiobooks. Audiobooks are a thing. So that is also something that authors can get into and should get into. So that's again, Joe. We need a part 2. At this point, we need a.
Yes, definitely.
So we can wrap up here, and Joel and I can talk about doing a part 2 a couple of weeks from now. So if you want to hear more about part 2, definitely like, follow, and turn those notifications on. Joel, it was awesome talking to you. Thank you for coming on the show. And we are out. We will see you next week, same time, 8 p.m. 9 p.m. That is AST, Atlantic Standard Time. Currently EST as well, Eastern Standard Time. For us in the Caribbean, is almost all of us are in the same time zone, Caribbean Standard Time. So this is where it is. When I start at 8 o'clock, if it's only one person in here, I can be talking, but I want you in here. So if you're a lover of books, if you are an author yourself, definitely hit us up. If you want to be on the show, there is a link in my bio for signing up to be on the show. We talked about advanced reader copies. We also have an advanced reader copies program. You can also sign up for that. And so link us in the bio. Definitely hit us up in our DMs. And again, not just me, but Joel as well. So be gone, because again, we can definitely talk for another 2 hours. But yeah, it's late. I need a drink.
All right. Thanks, Robert. Great live. And thank you for having this platform. Bye.
Later on.